The BFG, aka The Big F***ing Giant, is a new fantasy film from Steven Spielberg. What? Yeah, the big what? Oh, really? Oh. Take two. The BFG, aka The Big Friendly Giant, is a new fantasy film from director Steven Spielberg. It stars Mark Rylance and Ruby Barnhill. Adapted from one of Roald Dahl's most best-selling books, the story is about a young girl who grows up in an orphanage who is kind of kidnapped by a giant. She's taken away to Giant Country, where he explains that there's a bunch of other giants who are much bigger than him, and they're basically making children go missing because they're eating them. It's up to Sophie and the BFG to come up with a way to, well, make the evil giants stop doing what they're doing, because eating children ain't good, let me tell you. Now, going into this movie, I didn't really have any expectations. I'd never read the book, I was aware of it. When it came out in 1982, I was in primary school, and it was a really big deal. I just never got around to reading it. So I didn't know much about the story or anything like that, but obviously being a Steven Spielberg production, I had to go and see it. So look, on a positive note, technically this film is absolutely wonderful to look at. The CG and motion capture was phenomenal. I really believed in the character of the giant, and all the other giants as well. The only problem I think there was, on occasion when the character of Sophie is being moved around in the giant's hands, sometimes it looked a little bit fake, but you know, look, overall, yeah, it was absolutely fantastically done. The 3D as well was put to really good effect, especially because you've got the size comparison of the little girl and the big giant, and in some scenes where she's being lifted up, that kind of stuff, the depth obviously really played into good effect. The performances were really good, especially Mark Rylance as the BFG. He was just so likable. You know, he was this big, gentle guy who's just trying to, you know, make his way in the world kind of thing. But and particularly with his language, he sort of had this bumbling way of using the English language, and yeah, it was really endearing. I thought Ruby Barnhill did a good job as Sophie. The only problem was that I thought her character was maybe just a little bit flat. She wasn't really given a lot to do as such, but with what she had, she did a really good job. Now, my only problem with the movie was that not much happened. I mean, you go to a Spielberg movie about giants, and you kind of want there to be a sense of fun, a sense of adventure especially. But realistically, I don't know, the movie was just very bland for me, particularly in the first half. And the reason being was that there just wasn't any real dramatic conflict. You know, the villain in the piece, well, the group of villains were these other giants who were apparently eating children, but you only really know about it through like a newspaper headline and from what the BFG has been telling Sophie, but we never really sort of get any real threat or, you know, a sense of danger from these giants. So I kind of felt what we were left with was our characters just sort of going from scene to scene and just doing their thing, and yeah, I just, like I said, I didn't really get a sense of adventure from the story. Now, that being said, behind me in the cinema there was a dad with a row of kids. I don't know how many there were, possibly 200 and something, but it might have been a group of 6, I don't know. But I could tell they were really enjoying the movie a lot more than I was, and I think that's the thing. You know, kids and families are really going to appreciate the movie a lot more than maybe I did seeing it by myself. Like, there was one scene, for instance, which involved a lot of fart jokes, and by that point of the movie, because nothing was just really wowing me, the jokes sort of fell flat on me. Whereas, of course, you know, the kids behind me are just giggling their heads off, and even some guy up the back of the cinema, I could hear him laughing out loud as well. So, you know, I think, yeah, for kids, it's probably going to be a much more enjoyable movie experience. So while the movie did feel pretty flat to me, like I said, technically it was a great film to look at. I mean, not just the CG, all the cinematography was absolutely fantastic. Spielberg, it's Spielberg. What can you say? So granted, there were a few scenes where my mind was kind of wandering somewhere else, but look, overall, you know, I didn't mind it. It wasn't too bad. I'm going to give the BFG a 5 out of 10. So it's a big week for reviews this week. I've got Central Intelligence coming up tomorrow, and then Mike and Dave Need Wedding Dates on Wednesday. Plus I'm going to do a couple of Total Recall reviews as well for some movies that I've only just gotten around to recently seeing that from the last couple of years, which I'm really looking forward to talking about. So I might even do those coming up very shortly. So in the meantime, if you like my video, please subscribe to my channel because there's going to be plenty more reviews coming up. Drop me some comments either here or on Facebook. All my social media links are down below because I like to talk about movies and I would love to talk about movies with you. See you soon.
Hey you there. Yeah, I'm talking to you. Click subscribe. You see the big word up the top that says subscribe? Well, click on it. Click on it now. Do it. Yeah.